Okay, it's me, Justin House again. Dodgy throat. Okay, it's episode 383. It's Monday, the 5th of July, year of our Lord, 2021. Okay, hope you're all good. Hope you had a good weekend, etc., etc. Okay, cool. All right, let's get this show on the road. Okay, that's okay on the old YouTube front. Right, so I'm just going to dispense with the first 15 minutes or so, covering a little bit of news, a couple of topics that have been doing the rounds, should I say, over the course of the weekend. First, guilty pleasure, guilty admission. Yes, I've got the fan going in the background. I hope it's not too much of a distracting noise. I immersed myself, really went balls deep into Bosch at the weekend on Amazon Prime. I have to admit to being completely naive to this. I had no idea what this serial was. Yeah, completely out of touch. The lead role is Titus Welliver, is it? Hey Google. Cast of Bosch.
There are more than 60 people in the cast of Bosch. Here are the first three: Titus Welliver, Jamie Hector, and Lance Reddick.
There you go, that'll do. Okay, so Titus Welliver, that's cool. Yeah, he's been, what I realised when I was watching Bosch, this is how much binging I've done. I'm on the 5th season. Is that what they call them? Yeah, 5th season, and I guess it started 2015, so 7 years, well, 7 years worth of filming, if we're including 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, yeah, it's 21 makes it the 7th year inclusive this year. Point being, it's quite rare these days to see a series go more than 4. Case in point, Ozark. We are all chomping at the bit for Ozark Series 4, I know I am. Seasonal series? I suppose series, isn't it? Yeah. So to me, Ozark is the benchmark. Very hard to beat what Jason Bateman does, in my humble opinion, with Ozark, with the look, the writing, of course, the development of the characters, the character arcs having stakes. I'm hugely impressed. So just a little bit of geekery here on in terms of entertainment. Yeah, so my bar is set at a height in terms of, obviously it's a subjective thing, but what I really look at and go, wow, this is clever story writing, great script, screenplay, just character development, again emphasizing that whole stakes issue. These days there are a lot of characters that are written that are just, you just feel nonplus. You don't care if the characters do that well or they live or die. There's a lot to be said for the way things are written when you can identify the character, or just not even identify, but just have a character in something you're watching on whatever screen format you use, and you care about that character. You're bothered if they're okay. You want them to be okay. You want them to win. So I certainly got this when I was watching Bosch, and the lead, hey Google, Titus Welliver.
According to Wikipedia, Titus B. Welliver is an American actor. He is best known for his portrayals of the Man in Black in Lost, Silas Adams in Deadwood, Jimmy O'Fallon in Sons of Anarchy, and the title role in the television series Bosch.
Oh, I forgot he was in Sons of Anarchy. Something else that I recently discovered, I'm years behind what normal people watch. So yeah, seeing Titus Welliver, I recognise these journeymen actors, actresses, let's just go for actors, they, Caesar, get your pronouns right, just from observing people that were big in the 80s and 90s that are still great journeymen actors, and they're appearing in serialised dramas, etc. on Netflix Prime, etc., Amazon Prime and Netflix, I find it very interesting. The fair play for having a 30+ year career has to be said. You know, when you look at these people, and they're not necessarily air quotes leading men. It's not like you're looking at a Daniel Craig or a Tom Hardy or a Christian Bale that you're like, oh my gosh, this is a, you know, an A-lister, as it were, or that you've seen in big blockbusters at the cinema. Titus Welliver is one of those actors who would never lead a film in terms of headlining a film, should I say. Yet, his acting chops, his acting prowess is as good, if not better, than any of those top dudes. He's not an over-actor, but he's often played a bad guy or a cop in, well, I remember him from Transformers. So, you know, he's one of those instantly recognisable Hollywood faces, and there's literally dozens of actors out there that you look at and you go, oh, whoa, I know this face, and you've got to Google their IMDb, their Internet Media Database, and find out who they are and what they've done. You look at their body of work and you realise they've been churning out theatre, and whether it be what we used to call straight to DVD, whatever. Now, of course, you've been greenlit by Netflix or Amazon Prime, and you've got a series on there, and that's why I mentioned Ozark, because it's quite hard to get past 4 seasons. You know, gone are the days, or should I say 4 series, gone are the days where, I mean, God knows how many years Friends ran for, or Cheers, or Roseanne, or one of those greats that I used to watch as a teenager in the, you know, my MTV generation in the late 80s and 90s. You know, my Friday nights were just full of Roseanne, and of course Cheers for me was the one. Anything American, anything at all. So yeah, I've gone seriously balls deep into Bosch, and obviously over here in the UK, that's potentially open to ridicule, because there's a sort of person that says the word Bosch, and of course well, not of course, I mean, let me tell you, I was obsessed, and I mean obsessed, between the ages of 13 and 16 with Hieronymus Bosch and Salvador Dali. Yes, the surrealists, the fantasists, the religious depictions, you know, that kind of Dante's Inferno stuff, you know, just really strong, visceral, just really, you know, you'd see these religious, surreal, fantasy type images and paintings that were really, truly frightening. And they are often done by a Salvador Dali or a Hieronymus Bosch. So over here in the UK, because Bosch is an American series, I doubt that they know that the slang Bosch, you know, it means wallet, bang, Bosch, but we spell it B-O-S-H without a C. Now I immediately went to Hieronymus Bosch, but I can't even say now, Hieronymus Bosch, spelled H, oh my life, H-I-E-R-N, O-N-Y-M-O-M-U-S, anyway, trust me, I can spell it if I've got pen and paper in front of me, H-I-E-R, higher, Ronnie, O-N-Y, Mus. Now, M-U-S or M-O-U-S, I'm going to go without the O, I'll just say it's M-U-S. Hieronymus Bosch, and then Bosch is B-O-S-C-H-E, C-H, sorry, no E. He, as a character, you care about. Quickly, in the first episode, you are given a glimpse of his truly upsetting childhood. So, you know, he's a cop, born in LA, and, you know, born into the Los Angelian system of, frankly, well, the equivalent of a boys' home, of an orphanage, if you like. So that is a good, straight away, whoever's writing it, I'm thinking, this is good, this is good. You know, we've got a cop now that, rather than, hey, I'm the burnt out Martin Riggs cop, I'm on the raggedy edge, I might eat my gun, because that's, look, as a fan of the cop buddy movie, as a fan of Lethal Weapon, and there are plenty of touchstone, what's the word, trope, if you like. In fact, let me check on that. Hey Goog, what's the definition of the word trope?
This is the definition of trope. A figurative or metaphorical use of a word or expression.
Thank you. Okay. Glad it's working. Yeah. So I have adjusted the sensitivity on the assistant. So hello, everybody. You're right. So excuse me, choking. I can't recommend it highly enough. But all those tropes, all those touchstones, it's there. And like I say, I'm just literally covering this just before I jump into tonight's conversation. Hopefully, a fruitful fight or flight regarding our fighting, pugilistic, combative past. I've always got, the thing is about these bloody live streams, and I'll give you an example, right? This is 383 tonight. This is my third attempt at not taking down 383. I mean, it's a good job I haven't got crazy followers. It's a good job I haven't, because anyone that you don't unsubscribe because you're like, why is this guy taken down episode 383 twice already? And I have, because I just wasn't satisfied with it. I was like, upload video, delete. So tonight, 383 redux, okay? So we are, 5-6 days out from UFC, the biggie, the trilogy, with of course Conor McGregor and God, I'm blanking on Dustin, should know, Poirier. And it's interesting how civilized we've become. Hello, Dougie, you're right. The whole, I was just killing time talking about Bosch, the TV serialized cop drama. I'm itching for Ozark Series 4, and just saying it's rare these days that a series gets to past the fourth series or season, and I'm amazed that Bosch has just done 2015 till 2021, so 7 years straight. And I only discovered it literally on Friday. My brother sent me a text saying, as you know, I've only just discovered Sons of Anarchy. Obviously, I'd heard of Sons of Anarchy. I've seen people in the gym wearing Sons of Anarchy t-shirts. I knew you'd watched Dougie Sons of Anarchy. It's really weird that I can be so involved in certain things, yet miss really obvious stuff, or mainstream, like miss the footy, miss quite obvious things that are happening perhaps at a mainstream, most people are aware of it, like most people have seen Sons of Anarchy, or most people have seen this or that, or the football, and I'm a bit, I don't know, I don't try to miss these things, far from it, because each day I do look at the news. I mean, I'm looking at it now, just looking at the headlines with, Jeff Bezos stepping down from Amazon, and, yeah, all right, Jeff, you're stepping down, and Mark Zuckerberg doing, I was disgusted, actually, I'm really offended by this, to see Mark Zuckerberg flying the American flag, which I'm all for, but doing it, he was using, there's a type, he said it's wakeboarding, but it's not, there's a type of, that's hydrofoiling, sorry, it's hydrofoiling. It looked like a hydrofoil. There's a type of surfing you can do where you are elevated out of the water, and they're often 4 feet, 5 feet, like a massive thing on a single upright. If you want to be blown away, watch Kai Lenny, K-A-I, one word, K-A-I, Kai Lenny. He's probably the best in the world at hydrofoiling, because it's a hydrofoil and they're made for surfing, and you surf out of the waves. So you're literally like, anyway, but to see Mark Zuckerberg holding the American flag, trying to be cool, surfing made me literally vomit in my mouth. So there's that to mention. There's the so-called stepping down of Jack Dorsey, of Jeff Bezos, and his replacement has been there already. Damn it, what's his name? Jeff, anyway. No, Jeff Bezos has been, hey Google, Who is replacing Jeff Bezos at Amazon?
Andy Jassy.
Andy Jassy.
Here's a summary from the website indiatoday.in. Andy Jassy takes charge of Amazon.com's operations from Monday.
53-year-old replaces Jeff Bezos as the CEO of the world's largest e-commerce firm, AWS, Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services, as I mentioned before, Amazon Web Services, frighteningly, why am I trying to speak so fast? Speak slowly, Justin. Take your fucking time, you dildo. Amazon Web Services, disturbingly, house all the servers for the CIA and our GCHQ. Seriously, Google it. That's not me being conspiratorial. AWS, Amazon, because you've got to think, we all think about, oh yeah, the internet, and why don't we just go private? Why don't we just go and get your own server then just? What would be the ideal tick in the box if you could just say to your mates, I'm getting off YouTube or I'm getting off social media, I have nothing, because this would be the dream, wouldn't it? To have nothing to do with any social media platform other than the one that gives you total freedom and zero censorship. I mean, you could literally say Zeke Heil if you wanted to, because this is why I will I know people say it all the time, die on that hill. Yeah, I'll die on that hill. It's like, if you were to ban boxing or ban mixed martial arts or ban football, many people would die on that hill because they would be very vocal supporters of it. So socially, you would die on that hill. It's a metaphor. My point being is that the hypocrisy of even just a small timer like me going gob, 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 aren't these technocrats awful, whether it's Bezos or Zuckerberg or Wojcicki at YouTube or Dorsey at Twitter. You mentioned these forerunners of the apocalypse, which I just have: Susan Wojcicki, YouTube; Zuckerberg at Facebook and Insta; Jack Dorsey at Twitter; and Jeff Bezos at Amazon. Wow, didn't trip myself up. They're the forerunners of the apocalypse. They really are. But because they're calling shots above government. Do you know what I mean, Dougie? It's like, for me to say, hey, do you think, who's got more clout? Who's got more actual clout? I'm talking in society, Boris Johnson or Jeff Bezos? Well, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? It's the latter. So, but the irony and the hypocrisy is that I am using, everything I wear comes from Amazon. The clothes, the hat, this bracelet, the microphone, everything came through. Well, that was from Somtronics, but originally from Amazon. But the point being that makes me a hypocrite. It makes me a hypocrite that I'm posting on Instagram and then slagging off Instagram. But it is what it is. And when you look at RGCHQ and the FBI and the CIA using the servers of AWS, Amazon Web Services, it demonstrates two things. It demonstrates a complete trust from RGCHQ, so MI5, MI6 are government agencies that are the biggest army that we've got. And then you look at the National Security Agency, the FBI, the CIA. These people are also under the Amazon Web Services servers. So your actual internet is coming from Jeff. That's my point. Okay, so I just wanted to say that because people should know. And there's a very disturbing but enlightening Amazon documentary on, I think PBS did it, the same people that did 60 Minutes. It's really well done. It's about an hour and 40 minutes long. Yeah, do watch it. So when you hear Jeff Bezos is stepping down as CEO of Amazon, you're like, really? I don't know. So I'm going to just, like I say, I've binged. I have left the house, but I've been quite, really balls deep into this Bosch thing. So it was just ironic for me that I was so besotted, is the word, besotted with Salvador Dali and Hieronymus Bosch as a kid. My goal as an artist from my teenage years until my early 20s, just doing oils on canvas, and only I did do watercolour, but oils on canvas in the style of Hieronymus Bosch and Salvador Dali, the surrealists, the fantasists, the religious depictions of horror, frankly. And I find it funny that this series, Bosch, the detective's name is Harry Bosch, but his full name is Hieronymus Bosch. And of course, I get very funny about it because it's entirely set in Los Angeles, and Justin can name the roads. You know, I spent so much time simply driving around LA to learn the city, and yeah, it's really weird just watching Bosch. There's a lot of references to the black and white buddy cop of Lethal Weapon, you know, Riggs and Murtaugh. There's a lot of Heat references with Michael Mann's Heat, De Niro and Pacino. You want his apartment, you want his house, where Harry Bosch, Hieronymus Bosch, lives. I know that area so well, Laurel Canyon. It's not Mulholland Drive where the Hollywood sign is, it's Laurel Canyon. Specifically, I took one look at it and was like, that's Lookout Mountain Avenue. I know it because I lived there for half a year, and it's a beautiful, very, very, very steep, as illustrated by his house on stilts. And these stilt houses were all built in the years of Errol Flynn and Charlie Chaplin, in the real heydays of the Hollywood, you know, the golden years, right? So anyway, so I just wanted to kill some time. Let's talk fighting, because it's interesting. Well, I think it's interesting. I know Dougie thinks it's interesting. Hope so. Look, we are getting on, depending on opinions, depending on what research you're reading, in the region of 250 to 300,000 years old as an item, you know, as a thing. Us, you know, Homo sapiens, we are getting on to that age. And just for my own satisfaction, really, I was thinking, wow, you know, like Dougie, I looked at that footage you sent me of Connor, and I thought, gosh, you know, look at the bling, look at the, you know, his cufflinks are probably more than what I earn in a year, probably are. In fact, I'm sure of it, you know, and I just thought, wow, you know, what on the one hand, like, you feel, well, I feel very motivated by, and like quite high five-ish for, do you know what I mean? What do I mean by that? Like, I don't know Conor McGregor, and I'm never going to know Conor McGregor, but when you see, and this is not about the colour of his skin, I'm not going to say a fellow white man, I'm just going to say an ordinary looking fella, because I know Conor is like very smart looking these days, you know, you can see, but let's just for a second, just as an assessment about Conor, rather than talk about his fights, because I'm not qualified to do that, I'm going to talk about him as a human. So we've all seen Conor McGregor in his younger years where he's got quite significant pitted skin from acne scars. Now, it's quite a smart move to grow, keep and maintain a well barbered, manicured, shaped beard that does give him that Roman sort of Spartan kind of chin, you know what I mean? It's a strong, big chin accentuated by the beard. I know it myself, you know, that you grow a beard and it can cover a multitude of sins. You can cover a double chin. Genetically in my family, we're prone to having double chins. Fortunately these days I haven't got one because I've actually covered it with the beard, but no, seriously, even without the beard, it's getting less and less because I've lost weight. And the only time I haven't got a double chin is when I'm actually lean enough to have abs or whatever. So you look at Conor and you think, okay, you were the guy that was going to be a plumber. I get that. And you look like one because you see Conor 8, 10, 12 years ago and you think, yeah, you do look like the fella that would come around the house with, frankly, a shaved head, pre-beard, and if he was BT open reach, do you know what I mean, Doug? You wouldn't, if you met Conor McGregor, I'm not picking on him, because I'm actually a bit of a fanboy. But if you met Connor a decade ago and he's doing BT Open Reach, you'd go, yeah, you look like that guy. You look like that guy. So I get motivated by, and I want to do the high. If I ever met him, I'd be like, mate, that's a bit of a high five, because had you not pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, because life does open doors if you try hard enough and you're in the right space, placed at the right time, and you're brave enough to go through those doors and you keep doing it. So, you know, people talk about luck and hard work, and I'm like, well, you've got to put yourself in a position where you're likely to have an open door, and then you've got to have the bollocks to go through that open door when someone goes, it's unlocked, mate. You know, now I've done it myself. I've bottled. There's probably 4 times in my life. Yeah, like 4 big ones. You know, where I could literally take you back in a time machine to a certain place and date and go, this here, this scene of the film, because we all run films, don't we? We all run films of our lives. Don't say you don't, you do. We all run films of our lives. This you know, kind of Hollywood production of your own life, and you know, you see your life. I actually wrote a couple of pages the other day. I will read it this week. Just my own thoughts about how people do run their life as a movie, and we're all guilty of doing it, and to varying degrees depending on how mental you are. And you know, there's you look at someone like Connor or a Rogan, you know, just because they're household names for people that might listen to this live stream, you're likely to be into those things too. So, you know, you take a Rogan, you take a McGregor, and you think, wow, right time, right place, and the balls to push through that unlocked door. Because what a lot of people don't acknowledge is that you can't just say, oh, it's who you know, or you lucky shit. No, you've got to have the God-given and worked for and acquired talent, i.e. bleed for it, literally bleed for it, and to consistently do it, like literally. I don't want to use words like grind and journey, but because they're overused these days, but it's true. You better bleed for it and keep doing it, literally broken record, and be right time, right place, good connections, and then, so you're right time, right place, you're busting your buns for it, you've actually had someone go, here, just this bloke, he's a friend of, you know, and that's when you've then got to go, big breath, I'm walking through, all right? And that's the reality of it. And someone like a Connor, because this is why I mention their ordinariness. Like if you took a Rogan or a McGregor and just put them in the street, they would disappear. They would disappear as an everyman. You know, neither Joe Rogan or Conor McGregor looks like Brad Pitt or Christian Bale or Tom Cruise. They're not cinematically wow. Same thing with Jason Statham. So I'm just saying, you've got to, like, this is why I like these fellas, because they give someone like me a bit of hope. They give someone like me a bit of like, yeah, just go on, keep trying until you literally can't. Keep having a go, mate, keep having a go. You know, don't write yourself off. Don't. You know, it would be very different if I was saying this as a 79 to 83-year-old, because just the law of averages, you're like, well, you are at the twilight years, you really are, you know, but I know the next, God, I've said this numerous times in my life, the next 5 to 10 years are really important. I said it when I was 30, and now I'm saying it at 49. But the point is, 20 years can go by in a blink of an eye. So, that's my little thing about a McGregor or a Rogan, is that they aren't head-turningly good looking. They're not 6 foot. Well, they're not even 6 foot. There you go. And that's not attacking people that are under 6 foot. Far from it. because some of the best athletes in the world have been under 6 foot, certainly in bodybuilding. And look at Tom Cruise, 5'8", Rogan's tiny, isn't he? 5'3", 2, 5, 4'8". But anyway, so I'm excited for watching Dustin Poirier and McGregor because it does inspire you, well, it inspires me anyway, and I also look at the developmental arc of pugilism, of combat, and that's why I googled everything from cavemen to samurais to massacres to Genghis Khan. Some people say Genghis Khan, but it's Genghis Khan. He literally did enough bloodshed and fucking, bloodshed and fucking, bloodshed and fucking to alter the course of the world. That's why you must listen to Hardcore History with Dan Carlin, because it's a great podcast, because he literally explains how a Hitler or a Genghis Khan literally did alter bloodlines because they were such terrible warmongers and did enough reproduction and slaying, right? So I know I've used radical examples, but they're to highlight how civilized we are now. And I really think that when you watch a UFC event, this is my tedious link. This is my tedious, convoluted, very protracted point to get to the real crux of it, which is when you look at a UFC event, the likes of which we've got coming this weekend, you look at the lights, you look at the LCA, the lights, camera, action, as I call it, or it's the LCA. Look at the lights, camera, action, and you look at that and you think, oh my God, what an event, how far we've come from bashing each other over the head with a rock. That's really where I'm coming at with this whole conversation about, look at the refinements, look at how civilized we are. It's just mental, and so much so that we've even got commentators. Think about the people doing commentary in the day on Ali fights. Think of the people now, like a Rogan. I love the sort of dynamic between a John Anik and a Rogan and a Daniel Cormier doing it is John Anik, isn't it? Yeah, they do the trifecta of commentary, and again, I will mess up names, I will mess up details because I don't know what I used to know 12, 15 years ago. But I do recognise, and I'm excited for such an event, which is this coming weekend. I think it's going to be late on Saturday night, early Sunday morning, I would imagine. If it's the 10th, it's 5 days away. It's 5 days away, isn't it? Yeah, with the 5th, it's the 10th. So that puts it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If it's Saturday night, yeah, so it'll be in the wee hours on Sunday. So I'm just really, really excited for it because I still want Conor to win. And Conor has done so many things that I just didn't like. I never, do you know what I mean? I never felt good or proud when I saw Conor throwing that dolly trolley through the window or out the window of the coach. I never felt good or proud when I saw Conor chin an old man at a bar for not taking a shot of his, whatever special brew, whatever, 12 thingy whiskey, whatever the background, whatever the reason, or when he stamped on that fan's phone. I get it that it would be annoying. I get it that you're being mobbed, you're being interrogated, you are being hounded. Conor can't walk down the street. It's true, isn't it? He can't walk down the street without getting hounded. Although, this is the although bit, we do know that the Conor beard and the Conor haircut is so ubiquitous. I don't want to say common, but it's so ubiquitous and so popular as to be not extraordinary. So I put it to you that if you went for a baseball hat and glasses, do you know what I mean? If he actually just wore down, like dressed down, as in wore a t-shirt this cheap and wore a hat this cheap, he'd probably just be able to, if he was on his own, without an entourage, without an army, without bodyguards, and without a flash car, he could probably pull it off. As could, well, probably not with Rogan, because Rogan's, I don't know, but what I'm saying about Connor, and who the fuck am I to say it, Justin, right? But what I'm saying about Connor is that because of the popularity of, and it has been, again, it's his trademark look. How many blokes online have you seen now with shaved, with a bit on top, with the beard? They've done the Connor head. It's really, really popular, with skinny jeans, and they look like, well, Connor pulls it off, but I don't think a lot of these lads do. Some do if they've got a good physique, so long as you've got the shoulder width with a little waist and you're not skinny in the legs, because Connor's not got skinny legs, you see. He's not got bodybuilding legs, but he's not got little legs either, is he? In fact, Connor's legs are pretty well developed for a UFC guy. I would imagine Connor's got bigger legs than Dustin. Again, I don't know that, but obviously Dustin wears the board shorts, which, you know, I would wear now. Now I don't have the quads. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, basically, if you've got the quads, it's true, isn't it, Dougie? If you've got the quads, if you've got the, well, not just quads, if you've got the leg, if you've got the ham and the quad, you will wear those shorts that Connor wears, because he doesn't look silly. So when Connor goes into wide split stance, that almost karate stance, just for the square off, standoff, you think, yeah, mate, you actually, your quads are borderline feathered. You know, you can see, you know, iliopsoas and just that medial head, and it's, you know, oh, you've got some thigh sweep there too. You know, it's look, isn't it? You know what I mean? And he's got some capped off delts, and which I'm a fan of. So Connor can do that, and I don't think Dustin, you know, I suspect Dustin has got a wider waist and not as much quad sweep, you know, and he hasn't got the same shoulders. So aesthetically, Connor can do that, but that's just aesthetics. I don't know, I don't want to make a prediction, because I think so long as Connor's trained himself for that dread lower calf kick, I don't know, you know what I mean? Thing is though, I'm just remembering now Dustin's fists actually doing him, but my question would be, would Dustin Poirier's fists have been as effective if Dustin hadn't weakened Connor's base? You know what I'm saying? Again, as a non-fight expert, but just as a man who knows, just forget being kicked in the leg, just my skateboard, my memories of taking skateboards to the calf and to the quad and to the shin, you'd be out for half an hour. Believe me, if I was doing, it is relevant, because if I was doing whatever trick and I took a deck to the leg and landed on my deck, you know, because they're marine 7-ply laminated maple wood. All skateboard decks, as just a point of, you know, trivia, they're all Canadian maple ply, they're all 7-ply, and they're concave, and they've got, anyway, the point is, trust me, if you take a deck to the shin, calf or quad, you are in trouble. So if Dustin boots his legs again and then does the fists, it's a really tough one to call this time, but my head and heart say two different things. Right, your heart says Connor, your head says Dustin, right? Because in the heart, we've still got, do you know what I mean? We've still got that. It's ridiculous, really, because I don't even know. Here's the thing, though. I don't know, and I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it because it bothers me. Do you know, I had a thought, Doug, about Connor. I thought, actually, if we met him, would we even like him? Would we even think he was a cool dude? Or would we look at each other and go, oh, he's a bit of a cock, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Because I got to, look, what's Connor, 33? Look, I'm not blaming the age thing. I'm not saying, I mean, you see, this is, again, why do people like someone like Conor? Is it just because he won? Well, generally the public just back winners, and I noticed this from GP racing. So everyone would back Valentino Rossi or whoever, you know, in the day was the most winningest sports person, and the public, the casuals, the tourists, the casuals, whether it be boxing, MMA, you know, snowboarding, whatever, they would back the winner. So whoever's doing the most winning, they'd be like, yeah, I'm a fan of so and so, and that can be football, boxing, but it's something bodybuilding, Doug, isn't it? You know, people could go, oh, I'm a fan of Phil Heath or whoever. Well, of course you are, because they're cleaning up. What about, are you a fan of that bloke that took 11th, but has got this really good thing going on, that's got his own little fan club, that underdog, you know, that went from 11th place to 4th place and then took the crown? That, do you know what I mean? I think Conor should have one more big fight and go out as a legend with Nate Diaz as two of the two biggest UFC persons. Yes, right. Do you know, Doug? I think that's an absolutely perfect point. And what a fantastic point. What a fantastic point. Because you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't want to get above my station because I don't have any more that level of detailed knowledge that I did from, you know, my day, right? But you're right. I think to see Conor do this, win, lose or draw, well, you can't really draw, but well, anyway, but to see Conor, like you say, what a lovely trio. So he would have completed the trio with Dustin, and then to go on and complete the trio with Nate, as you say. And that would make Conor, in terms of hat tricks or rubber fight or whatever they, you know, trilogies, that would make Conor a real, you know, went through the glass ceiling, altered, as the you know, as Dana said, you know, needle changer, altered the trajectory, not just the trajectory, altered the value. Let's be quite honest. Surprisingly, Conor is the favourite. Is he? That's interesting. Well, do you know why? Do you know what? Well, I'm not an expert. Do you know why I suspect that is, Doug? It's because people still believe, as Michael Bisping, who said in a recent interview with there's a good bunch of Australian guys who do the, they're called Submission Radio, and they can't be bad, and they're just podcasting at this level, mate. I've looked at their gear. I'm like, oh, you're doing it on a budget, lads, you know. Although they do have the Shure SM7B microphones, they do. But they've also got a viewership, and they got Dana. And this was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and they had Dana White on, and they were talking about this very subject, about the value of a Conor, you know, what's he bought in terms of, and it's true, isn't it? You're right, brother, because, you know, again, what Conor has done is, look, I know that when I'm YouTubing it in the wee hours, because that's all I do, I just literally jump on YouTube to see whose stream hasn't been taken down, whose stream has managed to push through. Even if I just get the results and get a brief highlight, you know, like so-and-so wins by a knockout, or, you know, rear naked or whatever, by, you know, I'll watch it. I'll secretly, well, no, it's not a secret at all. It's not a secret. I will be in my guts wanting, through gritted teeth, going, go on, Conor, go on. And it's really silly because, again, going to his personality, I suspect, Doug, if I was out with you and we were in a pub or restaurant and Conor had, you know, a couple of drinks, right, I bet he'd be quite a cock. I'm sorry, I bet he'd be quite a cock. And we'd be overwhelmed because we'd be like, oh shit, it's Conor McGregor, fucking hell. Let's go and shake his hand, let's go and have a pint with him, have a laugh, right? It would be cool, but at the same time, I don't even know if I was in a car with Connor on a 3 or 4 hour road trip. I don't know. I'm judging him. Look, actually, I'm going to let Connor off the hook here. Listen to me. I'm going to let Connor off the hook because I matter. Because I'm so important. Yeah, let me let this near billionaire off the hook. But the public perception, and also let's not forget this, as we would be, whether you admit it or not, humans become performative. Whether you admit it or not, or even if you're not aware of it and you say, I'm not doing that. In other words, if someone shoved a microphone and a camera in your face and you're in the company of a public figure, like a Rogan, like a Conor, I'll mention those two because they are so big. You know, let's face it, Conor McGregor and Joe Rogan are literally household names. They literally are. Certainly at this time. And you know, what humans don't like to admit is that, and I've done enough to know, I've only done enough to know that when someone goes, LCA, lights, camera, action, you sort of go, oh fucking hell, I'm on. You know, and you don't phone it in. You don't go, yeah, Justin, what? No, I'm not bothered. No, get that camera, get that opportunity to get me on telly well away. I don't want that because I don't want opportunity. Do you know what I mean? I'm saying it because everyone performs, including Conor McGregor, and no one has performed at the level of Conor in terms of showmanship, and that's the legacy. I want nothing more to see the old Conor. Exactly, that's what we're all holding at, and Merc Dustin. But I feel his life and lifestyle has changed dramatically for him to be the same. And yeah. This is the Mr. T conversation. This is the conversation that you know, even as die-hard fans, you know, and you know, Doug, I know you're a legitimate fan. You know, I'm a McGregor fan who has to say, oh, what date is that? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm too busy watching surfing and skateboarding shit. And that's just me. But I will be as excited come Saturday, Sunday as anyone. You know, sat in my kitchen as daylight comes, sat in my pants, you know, with a glass of milk, steady just, you know, and a bowl of porridge, at 5 or 6 in the morning. I will be, my stomach will be in knots, my arsehole will be twitching, you know, the perineum, you know, the taint, and I will be, you know, first date Britney Spears nerves. Do you know what I mean? I will be. Come on, Conor. You know, can you just show us, as you say, Doug? Can you show us that animal? Can you show us the Conor that did Aldo and Alvarez and came back and did Nate? Can you show us that Conor? Can you show the Conor that used to get in the cage and basically humiliate people? I mean, as you say, it's head and heart. Even if he loses, and I don't actually want him to lose. I don't want him to lose. I'll say it now, I don't want him to lose. I'm ready for him to lose. That, I'm covering myself, I'm being a right chicken, Doug. I'm ready for him to lose. And I'm half expecting it. And I don't want it to happen. And I want Conor to come in there. Actually, I want Conor to come in there without the fan. I know it's ridiculous, isn't it? You see, this is just me, and I can only speak for myself. I don't want to see the Rolls Royce, I don't want to see the Bentley, or the BM, or the Lamborghini, or the whatever he's driving. I know why he does it, because he's a brand. He's Conor McGregor Limited. He's a brand. You know, if he rolled up in a fucking Prius, right? It'd be brilliant, actually, wouldn't it? If he rolled up if he rolled up in a car like mine, which is a plenty nice car, people would be like, he's fucking driving a Volvo. What the fuck? You know, it's true. I almost think psychologically he's got a better chance of being Dustin if he just downgraded himself a bit. Like you say, Doug, it's the silk sheets. This is the boxing story. This is the. In fact, it's not even the. This is the fighter story, isn't it? This is the Rocky story. This is the you're a bum. You know, it's Burgess, the late great Burgess Meredith. You know, Mighty Mick's boxing club in Rocky. You know, what did he say about B.A. Baracus? You know, he's an animal. You know, what did he say? You know, he'll kill your rock. He'll kill your rock. You know, he just, you know, he was a. I can't even do it. I can't even do it. He called him an animal. Did he call him B.A. Baracus an animal? Or I can't think of a line. There's a really good, like Burgess Meredith, Mighty Mick. You know, Rock's original. You know, when he died, and so sad. And he spoke like, you know, this. It's almost like Alex Jones, but higher. He's like, he'll kill you, Rock, he'll kill you, you know, and it's like, and Stallone, he's like, what? What do you mean? He's like, Rock, he'll fucking destroy you. He's a fucking animal, you know. I kind of wish that scene was done again, but like a Teddy Atlas, do you know what I mean? Because he is playing Teddy Atlas, he is playing Castamanto, he is playing, you know, Kevin Rooney, whoever the trainer, you know, insert your Atlas, Rooney, Cuss, whatever. I'm a Mike Tyson fan, but you know, I think he said he'll beat you from here till Sunday. I can't be, you know what I mean, Doug? Even if he loses, well, this is it. He's still got the swan song. Yes, Conor and yes, as they both retire in a bloodbath slugfest to the biggest ever pay-per-view viewing. Even then, yeah, actually, Doug, what a lovely final act. What a lovely, because it's a movie. You know, this movie starts literally with Conor, you know, trying to fix someone's kitchen sink and then throw the screwdriver in a rage, and then it goes, yeah, exactly. Do you know? In fact, Doug, that's no joke. I didn't think of a series, and you're right. Conor McGregor, Jesus Christ, you know what, Doug? He will be a Billy, as he calls it, get to the billion, because you're right. Netflix these days, green light an awful lot, and as long as you throw in a few politically correct things, so as long as one of Conor's partners is trans, right? It's true, you know I'm right. So long as someone in Conor's gym in Ireland is trans or whatever, or gay, and that's just a 10-minute bit in the storyline, we're good. You could get a 10-part series out of this on Netflix. Yeah, you're right, mate, you're right. A series on Netflix, and they could simply call it well, it's been done before, but what would you call it? Notorious, or but you'd have him from, you know, Fight Club. Yeah, exactly. Do you know, it could be a docu-series. It could be a because actually I think a docu-series is more powerful than something that's been reconstructed and reenacted and dramatized. You know, there's the word, dramatized, because you then have to have someone playing Conor, which would be, you know, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of people that would have the Conor shape, because I'm not saying his physique is common, but there's, goodness me, there's fitness models, isn't there, Doug? There's fitness models that could just play that Conor body quite easily, but I think it'd be better. There's enough footage. I bet there's, do you know, like, I bet there's more than enough footage. I mean, in fact, there's a Polish guy I saw. He's either Polish or Ukrainian. Did a very, very good documentary, and it is on Connor. Shit, I know you would have seen this, Doug. It's called. He did one on Connor and one on Khabib. What was that saying that Khabib said? Is it bugger. Anyway, I've forgotten the name, but is it called Starboy? Nah. Anyway, there's basically a YouTuber, okay? Basically a very good videographer, and he's either Ukrainian or Polish, and I looked at this kid's credentials, and he's basically a videographer with good tech knowledge and good editing skills. Is it called Starboy? And then he did the same thing, but for Khabib. You know when Khabib was saying, "Bring your boy, I'll smash him." Location. That's it. It's called Location. It's called Location, spelled with a K. That's it. It's called Location, spelled with a K. And that's the Conor Khabib story, and it's done by essentially a YouTuber. And do you know what? It's better. It's better than some documentaries I've seen that would have cost 10, 15, north of 10 million. Oh yes. And this kid's done it for like 20, 30 grand probably. It's still a lot of money, but it would have cost him a good. Anyway, the point is, it's a better piece of editing. It gives you more goosebumps, and the scoring at 20 seconds to go, and I'll come back because this is really important. This would take Conor over the hill of being into a billionaire. It would. As you say, the swan song, right, 10 seconds from now, YouTube's all good. Right, that's my first 58, that's my first hour gone. Right, hold on. Right. TrueHouse. Are we not entertained? Oh, sorry, YouTube. Okay. Right, now we're back, we're live. Let's just wait for Dougie to come back. Before I continue my tirade. Very interesting point though. I like what Dougie has said actually, because that's very true. That's very true. So basically, what I'm talking about, I've really taken it back to our origins as why are we so, what's the allure, what's the attraction with this pursuit of pugilism? What's the fight or flight? What gets us excited about basically people beating each other up? And I have sort of taken this conversation back to our early days, when we were literal hunter-gatherers. And I did a basic Google check earlier on, looking at nomadic hunter-gatherer tribes, evidence, burial grounds of mass slaughter. So that's something that is in our nature. It's in our nature, and it's in our DNA, and it's hardwired in all of us to be combative. So it's quite okay to say, hey, I don't condone violence. I'm not saying violence is good. I'm just saying the competitive nature of humans, the raw, again, it's fight or flight. And of course now we're seeing a very curated, sort of modernized, hey buddy, modernized version of this. It's the ultimate form of expression to essentially beat each other up, but we're doing it in a civilized way. But yeah, going back to this, Dougie, the Netflix series, as you say, what a beautiful swan song. Whatever the result is with Dustin Poirier this coming weekend, if Conor does, literally, I mean, if you were his manager, you would say, dude, can we just get you, to secure your future and your kids' future easily. Probably kids, yeah, let's be quite frank. Yeah, probably kids. I mean, because you could go 4 generations on that, you really could. So that it's well worth mentioning, but that would be the swan song. Doug's nailed it. Whatever happens this weekend with Dustin, irrespective of the outcome, everyone will be clamouring over themselves to see just literally finishing off that story. And it is a story, and I'm not going to use shit like it's a journey. It's a story. It's a really good trilogy. It really is, because I don't know, without checking, without getting into statistics, but would it make Conor one of the few athletes that have had such high-profile trilogies? The thing with Dustin Poirier, the thing with Nate Diaz. Would there be a third? I mean, is there a third opponent that he's done 3? Because that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? If there were 3 opponents that he went 3 times with each. I don't think so. I think it's just Dustin. No, it isn't it? It's Dustin and Nate. I can't think of any athlete that's done, literally several opponents for a trilogy per, and yes, it would be a wonderful, what a great, I don't know, for lack of a better expression, what a great, what a great, almost like a military move, isn't it? But what a great move it would be, just because, when you see Conor arrive, this is what, look, as a person who enjoys it, and again, I don't pretend or profess to be, oh, I'm going to just reel off my stats and I'm no, what's that guy, Robin Black or whoever. Wouldn't it be nice to see Conor arrive discreetly, without the roller, without the glitz and glam, because that in and of itself is exhausting. That in and of itself is stressful. And I appreciate he's got an entourage. I appreciate he's got a staff. I appreciate he's got security, friends, family, acquaintances, and a literal army. I get that. I get it. But oh my God, isn't that hard work? You know, even if you are literally floating on air, Connor, there's someone there catching your farts. There's someone there literally just saying, yeah, you let me wipe your bum, Connor. I get it, I get it. But wouldn't it be a wonderful departure just to see Connor arrive in really average sports clothing, just in really, in, again, the only reason I'm saying it is because it's not what we're expecting. The chances of this happening, in my humble opinion and my subjective opinion, are zero, because number one, he's got sponsors, the weight of expectation, and because it's the brand. It's the brand. I mean, I actually believe that if Connor, in fact, let's be fair, if he didn't turn up in that car, yeah, exactly, Doug, a shell suit, it would be comically hilarious. It's a good point, actually, brother. It would be hilarious, and I think it would win him over a lot. Not that he needs it, I mean, but there's something about, again, I'm looking at this purely from a marketing, literally, when you used to see Spielberg going around doing this all the time, just seeing the world through that camera lens. Everything's like that all the time. And from a cinematography, from a cinematic standpoint, from an unqualified fan who just enjoys, you've got to remember, and Dougie, you know this, like my recollection of November 93, yeah? November 93 of the first fucking UFC is so clear, I remember watching the first dozen. I remember going out and getting the tapes. We had to go and buy VHS tapes. Some of them were mail order. We just, had to mail. And I was 21. I was 21 in 93. So, and at that age, I was into my JKD and my Thai boxing. You know what I mean? I was really into it, which no one was calling MMA. The fact that we did do certainly groundwork, just learning shoot wrestling, learning to post, learning Western boxing and Thai boxing, and even Wing Chun Kung Fu. That's four things there. Thai boxing, regular boxing, Western boxing, Wing Chun Kung Fu, and just doing some basic shoot work, just like, getting your posting right and just being on your back and being comfy with it. That's what we did, and that was called JKD, Jeet Kune Do, which now would be like, you're doing MMA. And that was 92, 91, 92, 93. Those are my most sort of involved 3 years. Between 1990, those 3 years. When Point Break came out, I was into my skateboards, and that lifestyle, and doing 3 nights a week with the martial arts. I feel it's outgrown the UFC, to be honest. Like The Rock, right? Very good point. Very good point. You see, this proves to me how much of a great working knowledge you've got of it, Doug, because I literally couldn't think of a better comparison. We all saw Dwayne Johnson get bigger than, obviously, I remember WWF, which became World Wrestling Entertainment, and I remember Davey Boy Smith and the Road Warriors, and the Ultimate Warrior, and those were my heroes, and the Bushwhackers, and all that shit in the 80s, especially the Ultimate Warriors, the Ultimate Warrior and the Road Warriors. But you're right, Doug. The Rock, physically as a brand, became not synonymous with, but transcended. And you're right, Conor McGregor, this is why I don't think people really are bothered if he wins or loses, because although we like to see a win, look, who's that boxer who left unscathed? Undefeated. Damn it! I've forgotten his name. I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, it'll come to me. But oh bollocks! A really well-known boxer. Rogan's always talking about him. Andre Ward. Yeah, I'm sure it's Andre Ward. You know, left like clean, faculties intact, not punch drunk, not slow, not beaten up, no brain. You know what I mean? Yes, Andre Ward. I think it's Andre Ward. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I got the name wrong, but I think it's Andre Ward. I remember seeing an interview with him and thinking, "Wow, dude, you're good move. You won. You got the fuck out." You know. Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard. Even at the, when do you walk? When do you walk? I mean, you know, when you can watch documentaries about Ali and think, oh my God, this downward decline. Because whether we're talking bodybuilding, you know, Ronnie, like we all know if Dorian, and I'm saying this pragmatically, Dorian, if he'd done 98, do you really think Dorian would have beaten Ronnie in 98? No, my friends, not on your Nelly, unless it had been the 1993 Dorian, right, pre-tears. But once that bicep was shorn off the bone and the tricep was shorn off the bone, not a tear, no, shorn off the bone. Once that unraveling and visual impairment, I don't care, you know, and the hip and the rotator cuff and he was carrying like 4 things. The point is, and the waistline, anyway, Dorian, this is not just my opinion, it's his opinion. 93 was his year, and like we saw with Ronnie, and look, I was a Vitor Belfort fan. I know I'm hopping back and forth from bodybuilding to boxing to MMA, but it's all much for much. I adored watching Vitor Belfort with the big perm coming on and literally running like Tom Cruise, right? True, yes. You know, I'm going to say Phil Baroni, right? Yeah. When you literally take a person from this side of the cage to that side of the cage and they literally do a sled run. They literally run at a person. I mean, stupidly in Wing Chun, it was straight blasting, which is just fucking ridiculous. But to hit a person 20, 30, 40, 50, just to fucking hit them, head, body, head, body, head, body, head, body, head, and you're done. Do you know what I mean? Literally, like those symbol, you know, those teddy bears with the symbols. I remember watching Baroni did it, Belfort did it. You know, a handful of guys did that. Where you know, John McCarthy or whoever's like, you know, are you ready? Are you ready? You know, let's get it on. Let's do. And just to run through the opponent, to run them over, fucking hell, fuck. And yes, well, Conor did it. We'll see, not running through, but just sidestepping beautifully. And you know, what did Conor always say? Not economy of motion. Was it speed or accuracy or? Anyway, speed or I can't remember what he said, but speed or accuracy, just placing it, you know, that beats power, and of course it does, you know, because power is exhausting. You know, I know this as a human, just with the limited experience I've got. You know, just power and exerting power and aggression is exhausting. It's exhausting. You do punch yourself. excuse me, you do punch yourself out, you do. Anyone that's had even a handful of real fights in the real world will know how truly exhausting a fight is. Not a round, not sparring, not simulation, just having an actual fight. Number one, adrenaline dump. You know, your knees literally wobble, your legs literally wobble through adrenaline, whether you're winning or taking a hammering. Even if you're winning, you're still shaking because you realise what you're doing. Anyway, that's just my take on actually engaging in ultra violence. Yeah, I'm not condoning ultra violence, but you know, the occasions in my life where for reasons that we don't even need to go into, where I've had that much violence, and it's frightening, horrible and painful and mad. And I've never believed anyone that tells me they like a fight. Anyone that tells me they love a fight, they love a punch up, is a liar or a sociopath / psychopath. We've all met various people. You know, you'll bump into them in the gym and they'll go, yeah, I love a good fight. I mean, either you mean beating someone up, which is not a fight, beating someone up where you're massively advantaged, or you're just a liar. Because getting hit in the face and losing vision and that awful, huge sting of a broken nose, that breath-stealing, white light striking pain of a broken nose, and then just mustering enough to still do something to get through and get yourself out of that. It's not like, oh yeah, nose broken, I'm going to walk through it. No, it fucking hurts. Really hurts. So when you see people fight through a broken jaw and a broken nose in boxing and UFC, fucking bow down to that. Bow down. Jesus. Most people can't do that. Anyway, I just had to rant that out because it's true. There you go, it's true. Yeah, most people just first punch or three that their teeth have gone. Fucking, you're not walking around wearing a gum shield, are you? Most people taking a clean, good jab to the mouth will lose teeth. Again, it's just reality. Just a proper, straight, fucking jab, a really good stiff jab to the mouth. Short, sharp, fast, will just take people's teeth out. And that's enough for most people to go, oh, I'm done. It's enough to weaken most people. It's true. Anyway, I'm just saying, when you see these people, as Doug said, look, a bloodbath. Yeah, a bloodbath of a Nate Diaz and a Conor McGregor, that's a hell of a thing. And as you say, the Rock outgrew WWE. Conor, as a brand, has outgrown UFC, and Doug and I discussed this, he should literally go off and go, thank you very much, Dustin Poirier, whatever happens, Nate, whatever happens, I'm out and I'm making a new film with Jason Statham, and it's called The Irishman. There you go, part 2, it's another edition of The Irishman, with Scorsese directing or co-producing. I don't know, I'm being silly, but you've got Mickey Rourke in there, haven't you? And you've got, bloody, I don't know, couple of real firecrackers like I don't know, Quentin Tarantino, for example. Quentin, if you watch Quentin on Rogan's podcast recently, beautiful. He upsets all the Bruce Lee fans. Fine, I was a Bruce Lee fan too, but it's just so, like Linda Lee, she's a fucking liar. Brilliant. I love you, Quentin. So that was the same era, 93, wasn't it? Reservoir Dogs. Anyway, I'm just really I'm probably going to go. I think that's enough tonight. It's an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes. Sorry. Ever so excited about Saturday night. And look, I don't profess to know it all. I'd never dare call myself an aficionado on this particular subject. But I am passionate about it. I do love it. I do, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting because obviously this does bleed into celebrity culture. You know, no matter how you can't sugarcoat this. You can't. I'd be very interested what Dan thinks about this, Doug, because he's not taking DMs on Instagram. So I might try Twitter. He is on Twitter. That might be the only way. I'll try. Yeah, actually, I'll try direct mail on Twitter, because you know we are talking about people that have changed the sport, and that includes Rogan. That includes Rogan. Rogan's a brand, and you know, of course, this business of casting, right? What Rogan's done, again, whether you're a fan or not, this conversation transcends fandom. I'm trying to really be quite pragmatic and put aside my personal, yeah, I like this person or I don't. Number one, I don't know these people, because the best, when people gob off, and I'll just leave this as like a Jerry Springer final thought, right? When people gob off and they say, oh, Dana White's a wanker and Joe Rogan's a dickhead and Conor McGregor's a knobhead, right? Next time you hear that, just say, when do you meet them? When do you hang out? And I guarantee, unless it's by some almighty fluke that they ran across Dana White in the foyer of Mandalay Bay, right? You know, the foyer of wherever, pick your hotel, you know, that they just happened to meet Dana White and spend, you know, several hours with him, as you know, which Dana White would have lots of those, wouldn't he? You know, that, oh yeah, let's just hang out, mate, and just drink cappuccino. Let's just go and get a latte, shall we? Never. You know, so my point is this: when we slag off big names, understand that the best glimpse you're seeing on your screens is a performance. Even people who are real, like Joe Rogan, I think it's fair to say we're getting into thousands of hours now of Joe Rogan. I mean, he'd have to be a very, very, very good actor to convince, you know, like Dougie, you think about, obviously when you got me into Rogan, sounded rude, that doesn't sound right, yeah, when you got me into Rogan, when I discovered Rogan's podcasting, specifically JRE, Joe Rogan Experience, even if you watch 100 of his podcasts, just you get a good. I think we've seen enough hours of Rogan to go, yeah, you kind of like this. This is pretty much what you like. But nobody has seen enough of a Dana White and definitely a Conor McGregor, because Conor McGregor is in high performance mode. High performance mode. Even if it's footage of Conor riding a bike, even if it's footage of Conor walking down the street, right? Of course he's aware that there's cameras there. So he's in high performance mode to entertain. And that's why I've called tonight's stream, Are We Not Entertained? From Russell Crowe's quote in Gladiator, of course. Just, like I say, also, on this very note, if you don't like it, don't watch it, and that's whether it's little old me doing this live stream or whether you're watching UFC, but don't watch it and then go can, right? Don't do that. It's really negative energy for the planet. Just don't tune in again. Do you know what I mean? Like, if someone watched my live stream and said, oh, that Justin bloke, he's really annoying. Will he shut up? He just keeps talking, he's so annoying. Don't tune in again. And the same is true of a Conor or a Rogan. Don't go back for more. But don't go, oh, they're shit, they can. Don't do it. Because the rest of us actually get driven on by this. The rest of us actually get uplifted. And, you know, I'm not going to get all silly and emotional, but, and Dougie, you know this about me, you really know this about me. Of course I'll be sat in my kitchen, call it a fantasy, but it will make me get on that bike, it will make me go to the gym, it will make me walk out in the rain and not take the car, it will make me keep my diet clean, and that's good. That's good, isn't it? Because that means I'm enhancing my life, even if I'm vicariously living through my heroes. Of course I hero worship Rogan. I mean, holy shit, I've even got the same, well, you can't see it, but I've actually got the same mic arm now. I did manage to get it. What if I can just show you? That is a Frameworks arm, the boom arm here. There, you can just see if I do that, there, Frameworks. That's showing really clearly on YouTube, but here, so this is the 3000 series, and the lead here, the cable actually goes through the whole thing. That's just the long end that goes onto the mic here. So I'm chuffed to bits that this arrived from America in 7 days, and I was able to afford it at a reduced amount. It's unlike anything I've used, because guess what? It stays in position. So this, I now know why Rogan uses these things, but that's the name, Gator Frameworks. Okay, so there it is. Yeah, it arrived. I'm over the moon with this. So this is the identical one to what you see Rogan using. So even if I can, you know, and I was doing the woods before Rogan was, even though mine's fake. So yeah, I got the Gator Frameworks arm. Right, that'll do tonight. That'll do. So I'm beyond happy. Look at the way it just stays in place. It just stays in place. Like, ta-da! It just stays in place. Thank you. It actually arrived today, and it was. I found one with a 20. Was it? I think I saved £21.99 in the end. So basically, it was £103. So yeah, I was chuffed to this, and the quality, which you probably can't see, but it's all metal construction, and yeah, without taking it out, but even these, the adjustable knobs are really robust and really thick. It's like nothing I've ever used actually. It's just, it is professional level. So anyway, that's good enough for Joe, good enough for me. But I draw the line at the mic. I don't need a better mic than that. And I think this one looks lovely anyway. So right, but that's it. But yeah, don't slag off people that inspire other people. Well, you can if you want to, but that's your prerogative. But just, we shall see. Tomorrow, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to talk more. Probably tomorrow. I'm kind of going to talk a bit of spying tomorrow night, if you're into it. I'm a little bit blown away. There you go, that's the position. Doesn't need to be this close. I'm a little bit blown away by we could put the camera back where it should be. The predictions of Edward Snowden have come true. That one of my favourite journalists, Glenn Greenwald, super camp, super gay, lovely guy, married to a Brazilian husband with 2 Brazilian thumbs. But Glenn Greenwald is a lovely journalist. I can't recommend, if you want to spend even 30 seconds on YouTube, look at Glenn Greenwald, the only journalist, one of 3 journalists with the balls to tell the truth. That's why he's had to move to Brazil, no joke. American journalists that have told the truth, that got what Edward Snowden said in 2013, 14 and 15, the whistleblower, that the NSA and the CIA and RGCHQ, believe me, they're all listening to us, and we, you know, whether it, you don't have to be Tucker Carlson for this to be true. It's completely true. And of course, now with the Biden administration, I'll leave it at this, we really are at the next level of, well, Orwellian looking society, even with Facebook recommending that if you've got a friend worth snitching on, snitch. If they're, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. But tomorrow night, possibly, I'll cover the Amazon thing a bit more, and I'll still talk about the fighting thing. I'll probably make fighting a bit of a theme throughout the week, actually, because as it gets closer to the weekend, I'll get more freaked out by it. I'll get more enthusiastic. So I will inevitably rabbit on about the weekend's upcoming festivities throughout the week, because it's going to be a very busy week with frankly online content. You know, any of us even half into this, you know, when you scroll on whatever screen you use, it's pretty hard to avoid just these wonderful edited, very professional looking UFC videos. And anyway, it's exciting. So spying, fighting, the technocracy, and yeah, that'll do. Okay, so episode 383 is going to be released now, because this has been okay. Not my best, but okay. This has been okay. Episode 384 tomorrow, and I've got to get better, because I've got the right setup now, which stays. Look, I can even do this, and just lovely. I can just, that's what I wanted. A mic that just stays there. Okay, right. I'm out. Thank you for being here. Love you, Dougie. Thank you for being here. And I will see you tomorrow. I hope you pop in tomorrow. All right. I'm out. Same time, same place, same face tomorrow.